Baruch atah asherah anat melecha ha'olam asher kiddushani mitzvotav v'tzivani lehitatif latzitzit. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et anat Elohecha uvcha levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodeyecha v'chayu hadivarim ha'ele asher noachim mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'vitecha v'lechtecha havaderech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha ugkshartam le'ot al yadecha v'chayu letotafot beinenecha uchtavtaham al mezuzot beitecha uvihisharecha v'chaya ki v'achaya Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nisbar lavatecha le'avram le'yitzchak u'Yaakov latet lach avrim gedolot v'tavot asher lo vanita uvatim le'im Tuva asher lemilata, uverot hatzuvim asher lo asatva, keravim mizitim asher lo natata, ve'alachta ve'shavata. Hishamer lecha petishchach et yoreh asher tishacha, mi'eretz mitzrayim mibat avadim. Good morning, friends. How are you? What brings you here? What are you seeking? So today we are going to read from this story, The Descent of Ishtar. Except we are actually reading The Descent of Inanna. And where we left off from The Descent of Inanna, interesting. I got some crowd on my nose. What was I saying? What an excellent question, Abby. I was saying a prayer called the Vahafta. And the Vahafta means, and you shall love in Hebrew. And it's a chain letter of sorts. It's a prayer that says, copy me. The prayer says, repeat me, teach me to your children, say me on TikTok. Bind me as a symbol on your hand and let me serve as a sign on your forehead and inscribe them, me, the words, the prayer on the doorposts of your houses and on your gates. So I have interpreted that particular bit of liturgy as a call to remember the words of the ancients, you might say. Yeah, so I read old stories. You're so confused. So let me put it this way. We started the stream from a prayer that was written about 2,500 years ago, 2,500 years ago. And those words are still alive today, right? And we can go back older still, right? We can go back 4,000 years ago to stories that informed those stories and try to see how those older stories inform how we live today. That's my hope, right? There are reasons why I repeat these texts to you. And I've read this story to you many times as well. I think it's an important story. So what happened most recently was that Inanna decided that she was going to go into the underworld. So she says, I'm going to go. And she starts her descent, and she encounters a gatekeeper who strips her naked through 7 gates, removes 7 articles of clothing, removes the eyeshadow. Come, let him come. And then she arrives before the throne of her sister, the Queen of Death, Ereshkigal, naked. And Ereshkigal is in great pain, and they struggle together, and Inanna is hung from a hook. Can you know of any other dead and resurrected gods who was hung on a wall? I don't know any languages that use Cyrillic letters, unfortunately. So then Inanna's friend goes to Enki and says, Enki, you have to rescue Inanna. And Enki says, okay, and he scrapes some of the dirt under his fingernails and creates 2 non-binary beings, the Kugara and the Galator, creatures, beings, gods, demigods, who knows what they are, but they are neither male nor female. And they go down into the underworld, and they seduce Ereshkigal. They find her as she is naked in the throes of giving birth. And they empathize with her. Oh, my insides. Oh, your insides. Oh, my outsides. Oh, your outsides. And she's very grateful. So she gives them a gift. She says, I'll give you anything. And they say, we want that corpse hanging from the wall. And she's like, that's the corpse of Inanna. And they're like, yeah, we want that corpse. And then they give her the food of life and the water of life, and Inanna returns. So, I will read to you the next part of the story. Inanna was to rise from the underworld. When the underworld judges, the Anuna, grabbed hold of her, and they told her, none rise from the underworld unscathed. If you wish to go from the underworld, you must offer another in your place. Lovely seeing you again too, Steph. 2 years ago. Well, how's your little baby? Do you still call them a baby? Maybe they're a toddler now? None rise from the underworld unscathed. If you wish to go from the underworld, you must offer another in your place. So then, as Inanna arose from the depths of the underworld's gala demons remained tight around her. Good morning, Mandinity. Time flies, yeah. The underworld's gala demons remained tight around her. Those gala demons neither eat any food, nor take any drink, nor consume the offerings, nor partake of the holy libations. They receive no gifts, nor delight in the pleasures of love, and they haven't any adorable children that they might kiss. Rather, they take the wife out of the arms of her husband, the child from its father's laps, the bride from her new home. Thus the demons remained tightly bound around Inanna. The short gala with her like reeds as low as the lowest fence. The tall gala with her like reeds as high as the highest fence. The one before Inanna carried a staff, but was not a priest. The one behind Inanna had a mace, but was not a warlord. Ninshibur was standing out near the gateway of the palace, dressed in a sullied robe made of sackcloth. Upon seeing Inanna encircled by the gala, she bowed down to the ground at her feet. The gala demons told her, "You may go to your city, Inanna. We would be satisfied to take Ninshibur as your replacement." And Inanna spoke passionately to them. "Do not take her. Ninshibur is my reliable aid, my supporter, my source of sage words, my partner who fights at my side, and she did not forget what I had told her. She made laments at the ruins in my name. In the meeting hall she beat the drum for me, went in procession around the gods' temples, fingers scathing her eyes, mouth, and thighs, wearing the plain single mantle of a beggar. By herself she made her way to the temple of Anlil in Nippur, and traveled to the temple of Nana in Ur, and traveled to the temple of Enki in Eridu. Thus, she was responsible for saving my life. Thus, I will never let you take Ninshibur. Good morning, Sarah. How are you? The Gala said, "Proceed, Inanna, as we go with you to Uma." Within the temple in Uma, they found Inanna's son, Shara, dressed in a sullied robe made of sackcloth. Upon seeing Inanna encircled by the Gala, he bowed down to the ground at her feet. The Gala demons told her, "You may go to your city, Inanna, for we would be satisfied to take Shara, your son, in your place." And Inanna spoke passionately, "Do not take Shara, my son, for he sings hymns for me, and trims and brushes my hair. No, I will not allow you to take Shara." The Gala said, "Proceed, Inanna. We will go with you to Bad Tibira." Within the temple in Bad Tibira, they found Inanna's son, Lula, dressed in a sullied robe made of sackcloth. Upon seeing Inanna encircled by the Gala, he bowed down to the ground at her feet. The Gala demons told her, "You may go to your city, Inanna, for we would be satisfied to take Lulal, your son, in your place." Inanna spoke passionately. "Do not take Lulal, my son, for he is a great leader of men, my right arm and my left arm. No, I will not allow you to take Lulal." So, the Gala said to her, "Then proceed, Inanna, to your city, and we will go with you to the big apple tree standing in Uruk." At Uruk's big apple tree, they found Inanna's husband, Dumuzi. In his gleaming robes of the divine arts, and rigid upon his splendiferous throne, the Gala demons grabbed him by his legs. They overturned his 7 churns so that the milk spilled out. They snapped into the shepherd's reed pipe he was playing. Inanna fixed upon Dumuzi the death eye. She too pronounced the word of doom. She made against him a declaration of guilt. "Now grab him and take Dumuzi far away." These Gala, who neither eat any food, nor drink any drink, nor consume the offerings, nor partake the holy libations, and who receive no gifts, captured Dumuzi. They forced him to stand up, and they forced him to sit down. They pummeled Inanna's husband. They slashed him with blades, and Dumuzi lifted up his arms to heaven, and to Utu, the god of justice, he implored, "Utu, my brother-in-law, I married your sister. I delivered the cream to your mother's place, and I delivered the milk to Ningal's place. It was I who brought the meal into the temple. It was I who carried the nuptial gifts to Uruk. It was I who kissed upon the blessed lips. It was I who sported on the sacred knees, Inanna's knees. O Utu, God of uprightness and boundless compassion, alter my hands, that they become like those of a serpent. Alter my feet, that they become like those of a serpent. Set me free from my demons, and do not let them take me." And the compassionate Utu was guided by Dumuzi's plea. Thus he altered his hands to become like those of a serpent. So too he altered his feet to become like those of a serpent. Serpent hands and serpent feet. Tentacles. And Dumuzi escaped from his demons, and they could not keep him. And that concludes the descent of Inanna. Right, so we were reading about her marriage earlier, and she wanted to marry Utu, right? She wanted to marry Utu, and Utu's like, "No, you should marry a shepherd." And they have some good sex. And then, for some reason, Inanna's like, "I want to go to the underworld." And there's prices to pay regarding going to the underworld. And of all of the people in her life, right, her friend and her children, Dumuzi is the one that she throws under the bus. Why is that? I don't know. She seems a bit capricious. So, in this next bit that we will read tomorrow, we have Dumuzi's dream, which consists of Dumuzi evading the Gala demons who pursue him. And that will be the end of the descent of Inanna. So, we have much to cover tomorrow. Why? I mean, the will of the gods is mysterious, right? Like, I don't know why Inanna is characterized the way that she is, right? That she's like sexual but also capricious. Like, why? What motivates her to go to the underworld? It doesn't say. The story starts with, "I'm going to the underworld," right? Like, there's a lot in these stories that feels unmotivated to me. That I remain, after I finish reading them, because they're so fragmentary. Like, we lack so much context. This is all that we have, and there certainly were explanations to a lot of these questions that we just lack. But I think also, like, the ambiguity was built into the stories. Like, that's why they're good stories, So, like, why did Inanna want to go to the underworld? Why does she choose to sacrifice her husband and not her children or her friend? Why are some of the gods blind to her pleas, and other gods, particularly Enki? Like, why does Enki care about her? There's all sorts of questions that, maybe some Assyriologists can answer. But I certainly can't. Maybe there isn't a reason Ahed went, and she just went for story's sake. Yeah, I think so, right? Like, I think because she wanted to. Because her sister is in the land of the dead, right? She wanted to visit her sister. I mean, there is a thin explanation in one of the translations that I read where she's like, "You're getting married, and I wanted to come to your wedding," or something like that. But it's probably a later edition. The original reason having already been forgotten. So, yes. Why do people get stuck in the underworld? I mean, why is there death, right? Why does death exist? I can certainly, I can give you a thermodynamic reason or an evolutionary reason, right? Like, I think death is an evolutionary adaptation to certain kinds of temporal phenomenon, right? But, like, that's not an explanation. That's just verbiage. Persephone, yes, the story of Persephone is very similar to the story of Inanna, as is the story of Jesus, frankly. That's Persephone, yes. Specifically Persephone, the story of Persephone explains why we have winter, right? But there are other stories. Orpheus and Eurydice is a famous one, right? Like, the descent and return from the underworld is, like, the oldest motif that there is, basically. So, let's say Arati, shall we? The word Arati means flame. Flame in Sanskrit. Dante did it too. Yeah. Although Dante is recent, like, Dante is modern. When was Dante writing? Like, the 1500s? Yeah, like, I'm curious about stories of death and resurrection that are 3,000 years older than that. Or 8,000 years older than that. I wish I had those stories. I wonder what stories they told in Catalhuyuk. Or, yeah. Or in Göbekli Tepe. What stories did they tell in Göbekli Tepe? How did they understand the world? Is there anything they understood that I ought to know? I wonder. So, Arati means flame. We'll repeat the names of some more modern gods. More a part of history than those gods that have been forgotten. Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Arati Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Arati Venkanta Ramana Sankatarana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara, Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara, Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara, Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari, Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari, Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati, Mahakali Mahashakti, Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya, Anjaneya Hanumanta, Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya, Dattatreya Trimutriya Vatara, Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya, Adityaya Bhaskaraya, Jaya Jaya Arati Saniscaraya, Saniscaraya Bhaskaraya, Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya, Sankarachaya Advaita Guravi, Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata, Sadgurunata Shivananda, Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda, Vishnu Devananda, Vishnu Devananda, Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye, Agastya Munaye, Shirama Priyaye, and Jaya Jaya Arati Ayappa Samine, Ayappa Samine, Dharma Shastave, and Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Gurave, Moses Gurave, Buddha Gurave, Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Gurave, Guru Nanak Gurave, Samastya Gurubho Namaha, Jaya Jaya Arati Avanugopala. Om Natatra Suyobati Natanjagara Tamnima Vidyobati Kutayamagni Tomeva Bantamanamanti Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Bivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Sri Kaveri Hiyaha Namastitam Namo Namaha Twameva Mata Japita Twameva Twameva Bandisha Saka Twameva Twameva Vidya Dravinam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyatmanava Prakriti Sabhavad Karomi Adyad Sakalam Parasmahi Narayana Hiti Sarmar Payami Sarvadharmam Pravichayama Mikam Saranam Brisha Aham Sva Sarvapapayo Mukshayami Masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Sarah, I see you posting in Discord and TikTok at the same time. Many screens. You must be on your phone and your computer simultaneously. I really appreciate how talkative you are. It has made the server so much more fun of a place to be, right? Like, it's really nice chatting with you. Discord communities are really tricky, right? Like, it's funny because I met you rather late in this arc of development, right? Like, so the majority of people in that server joined when I was more actively teaching mycology classes. What about teenage males? I mean, there are a handful there. They have a right to exist too. Yeah, I mean, most of the people in that server joined when I was more actively doing mycology classes and when my TikTok audience was larger, and so they're largely silent. Like, it's kind of a quiet place. But, like, I have been trying to build community on the internet for a decade now, and largely failing, because it's really hard thing to do. Yeah, your presence helps a great deal. So. You've been reading about me? What, like in the Discord archives? Yes, I am fully transitioning. I don't know what that term means. I'm quite confident you don't know what that term means either. But to the extent that anyone knows what it means, I'm doing it. You know, I was a teenage male once. It was very unpleasant. I'm glad I'm not that anymore. Anyhow. Yes, I have a freegan history and actual friends. It's true. Did you know that I wrote a cookbook? It's under my dead name, but you can find it. I think there's a video. There's a video on TikTok about it. Yeah, I live many lives. So, I think it's time to say Kaddish. Kaddish is a prayer of mourning. Good morning! Om Darop. That's a great name. Om Darop. Yeah, so Kaddish is a prayer of mourning, a prayer of grieving. And I don't have anything particularly in my mind that I'm grieving today, and yet I still say a prayer of grief because it's good practice. Like, life is full of sorrow, and I don't know anyone who hasn't lived a life that where they didn't experience extreme and surprising pain from loss. So we have this little ritual as a way of preparing, right? So that we know, like, when things are bad, when they are hurtful and harmful and rough, that there is this touchstone, this thing to return to wring us out of wherever we might be. And most importantly, we have friends to share in our grief with, and to remind us that it's an emotion that needs to be shared. Sorrow is a symptom of love. That is true. So, the word Kaddish means holy, and the text of the prayer has nothing to do with grief, and yet it has everything to do with grief. And so we say these words to remind ourselves that in order to live, we must also die. Yid Gadal, Vid Gadash, Shema Rabbah. Biama Devrachute, Viamlich Malchute, Bechayachon, Viamechon, Vchayede Kolbe Israel, Bagala, Visman Kari, Vimru, Amin. Yehe Shema Rabbah, Mevarach, Lealam, Omei, Omaya. Yid Barach, Vishtabach, Vid Baar, Vid Ermam, Vid Nase, Vid Adar, Vid Ale, Vid Alal, Shema, de Kudishah, Barichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata diamiran biama vimru. Amin. Yehi shlama rabba amin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael vimru. Amin. Ose shalom b'ramav huya ase shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael vimru. Amin. Ose shalom b'ramav huya ase shalom aleinu V'yalechol Yisrael, v'imru, v'imru, Amen. Thanks. That's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow, and you'll be back tomorrow, and we'll say these words once more. Thank you. Hopefully, barring catastrophe, I will be here tomorrow. Yeah, I hope you have a really lovely day. So, for those of you who don't know, the Discord server has become more active with Sarah's presence. So you can check out the link in the bio. There's a link to join the Discord community. There's also links to support this stream via Patreon or with a one-time tip, or through a TikTok subscription. Hello, beautiful chaos. Hi, how are you? And that support keeps me motivated to doing this every day. It allows me to spend my time in a way that I really want to. Discord was originally a gaming platform, or it was a chat interface that was built and branded towards gamers. But since the pandemic, Discord's user base has expanded dramatically, and I would not say that it is a gaming platform anymore. They've shifted their branding quite a bit. It's a chat service. Yeah. So yeah, go click on the link in my bio, and I'll see you over there. It's nice to hang out. So I'll see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a lovely day. Farewell.